Hey everyone, so today we are in Photoshop. Today we're learning the most important stuff about Photoshop pertaining to Yearbook and everything you need to know about the basics of Photoshop. Just a quick disclaimer here, I am using Photoshop CC up here on a Mac. You guys are going to be using Photoshop CS6 on Windows, so it actually might look a little different. And your keystrokes are going to be different than me, but don't worry, I know Windows and Mac, so I will tell you all of the Windows information that you guys are going to need. So we are going to start on the left side of my screen here. This is the toolbar, and some of these tools you won't ever touch in Yearbook, but some of these you are going to be using all the time. So we are going to start at the beginning. This is my selector tool over here. I can move this little picture around if I want to, all that kind of stuff. This is your selector tool, is your marquee tool. So basically what it is you click a little point and you drag it out and it will select a big old rectangle for you. You can also, if you right click, it'll show more tools for you guys. And there's elliptical, single row, single column that you can also use. Lasso tool is this is a big tool that we use in Yearbook. It is this next little button right here, and it looks like a little lasso. The lasso tool is basically you just draw out a little line here. You can draw out whatever you want, and it selects that entire area for you, whatever you just drew. Then if you right click, you got your polygon lasso tool, which if you click, it creates little straight lines for you and then selects that. And then magnetic lasso tool, one of the most important ones that we use in Yearbook. You select a point and it'll find the edges basically and just select that whole thing for you. You don't even have to try and outline it yourself. It's pretty standard. And now my whole E is selected. This is the quick selector tool, which is, see how I just outlined that whole eagle just by dragging a little bit on this quick selector tool here. It's for quick selection. And it's useful in fixing whatever you selected with the lasso tool, basically. This is a crop. Do that, and it crops your whole image for you. Pretty standard. This is a paint tool. You can go down here. This is where basically your swatches are from InDesign, and you find your color that you want, and you just draw all over it. That's what the painter tool is for. Clone stamp tool is kind of an advanced tool here. So basically clone stamp, it makes a clone of whatever you've selected. So if you hit the Alt key, and I'm going to do it over this little eye here, click that and select the Alt key. Now I've selected this area basically to recreate, so I can recreate that over here, and my eye has reappeared magically over this E. So when I click down, you'll see this little cross over the little dot on the E, and that is how you know the area that you are redrawing basically, and that's how you can tell where you are. And I can essentially clone the entire area logo again with a painter tool, which that is important for touching up skin, or you can even cut out logos with it. This is the eraser tool. You can erase with it. Paint bucket, won't really be using that too much, but it's kind of useful for things. So I can just select, it'll select this whole big chunk and be done. This is the blur tool. You can use it to blur things, basically. See how I can just blur out this whole eagle and make his... Oh, my computer's loading. Can blur out this whole eagle, make him look kind of gross because we don't want blurry pictures. We want sharp pictures, which is what this next tool is. This little triangle is the sharpen tool. So it can help you fix blurry pictures, make your pictures more clear. But be careful with this, because if you sharpen too much, your pictures will become pixelated and look kind of funky. So we don't want that. So that's basically the most important tools you guys will be using for Yearbook. So now I'm going to talk to you guys about another little tool that you can use to say, so this is a great area logo, but what if I wanted to make it smaller or bigger or whatever I want? To fix this, I guess you could say. So to fix this, we're going to go to Edit, Free Transform. So Free Transform means you can go blah, 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 like this and make it all look all distorted and all weird, however you want. But another thing that you should have learned in InDesign is if you hit Shift, it won't distort your picture. Same thing with Photoshop. Beautiful thing. Adobe is very consistent amongst all of its programs here. So if I hit Shift and drag this down, I can go up here, I can go down here. It won't distort the logo at all, which is a great thing. So if I want it, like that looks like a good size, I go up here to this little check mark, hit check. Now it's that size. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the concept of layers. Layers is this little section over here in Photoshop. So if I opened up a picture that I saved, like to my desktop or in your folder in the Yearbook drive, and opened it in Photoshop, it would turn out like this. Your layers would look like this. It would say background, and it would have this little lock symbol right here. Basically, when this happens, when it's like this, you can't edit this photo at all. You can't do anything to it. So, when you first open it, you want to hit this little, double click this little unlock button. Now, I can move this little thing around and be all crazy with it and do whatever I want. So, if I want it, let's say I want to draw a little heart. Go to my paint, make my brush tool bigger. Say I want to draw a heart on this. You're like, oh, that's cute, but it's a little ugly. But it's a little bit ugly. So, like right here, that's a little bit too big, and blah blah blah. Well, I can't now because I drew this heart on the same layer as the area logo photo. So, if I try to move it around, it'll move the whole picture. This is where layers come in and are really helpful, with just like backups to mistakes. So, I'll hit this little button right here. It looks kind of like a paper with a folded edge. Click that. Makes a brand new layer right here called layer 1. So, I can draw my heart right here. Cute as a button. But also, I can go up here, go to Free Transform, and move the individual heart by itself however I want, and without affecting the area logo at all. It's fine. So that's where the concept of layers comes in, and it's a pretty important tool to use in Photoshop. If I Google Jamestown here, and I'm looking for a cute little picture of the school, here we go. Say I don't want to save this to my Yearbook drive. What you can do is you can right click, copy the image, go up to Photoshop here, hit File, New, and this is going to pop up. It's going to look different on your guys' computer, because you have Windows, also you have a different form of Photoshop, but essentially the same options over here. So what's the most important thing on this is the background contents. The default for background contents on Photoshop is white, which it's not my favorite because it's essentially like having a white photo in your layer. And I find that it's easier to work with a transparent background. So one of the most important things you want to do is change it to transparent, which on here for me is in advanced options. So you're going to hit transparent under here. And then you have a nice transparent background to work with, which is fun. Another cool thing about Photoshop is if you have copied something onto your clipboard, Photoshop will automatically set the dimensions and like the width and the height, the dimensions, to whatever the picture it is you copied. So if you just hit create, this is essentially the width and height of that Jamestown picture I just copied from Google. So if you go back to Photoshop and you want to just paste, Control V, it is the right size and width for the picture you just copied, and it's automatically a layer for you, so you have a nice transparent background to work with. Alright, so this is another photo, and I'm going to show you how to fix your photo resolution. So this is zoomed in at 200 and it's really pixelated, so it's probably like a 72 res, not very high quality. And when we send our picture off, or when we send our book off to competition, we want nice high quality photos. So something you have to do before you put a picture into InDesign is we have to go to image size. And this is already set in picas, but it will be set in inches for you guys if you haven't edited a photo like this before. So if you are at inches, be sure to change this to picas. And we're going to see how this resolution is 72. We're going to type in a 500 here, and it's going to make your photo really big. But if you zoom out, it'll be a really high quality photo. This is kind of small, so it didn't make it too high quality, but if you take a picture with one of the Nikon cameras, your resolution will probably be about 300, so it won't affect your photo too much like this. But before you put it into InDesign, you have to change the resolution to 500 in order for it to be high enough quality to be put in the book. Alright guys, so that's the end of this little discussion about tools and essential tips that you all will need when working in Photoshop for Yearbook. And stay tuned for the next video.